A long time ago, at the foot of the Himalayas, there was a small village named Lui Lang. In that village, there lived a lazy boy named Kaizo. That boy was famous in the whole village for his laziness and idleness. All the villagers used to call him lazy because he used to lie under a tree all day, take naps and have good dreams about his future. His days were passing like this idly, but one day, a Buddhist monk in that village, ours who were going to stay in the same village for the next 3 days. Buddhist monks preach to people throughout the day, begging for alms in the village, and rest in the Buddhist monastery outside the village at night. Whenever Buddhist monks go for alms and return with alms, they find that young boy lying under the same tree every time. The Buddhist monk started seeing these things from 2 days, and they understood that this boy is a slave of mental laziness. On the 3rd day, when the Buddhist monks were returning with alms, they went to the boy, who was still lying under the same tree. The monk said to the boy, "I have a task for you. I want you to go up to the top of that hill and get me a feather from there." While lying down, the boy turned his head towards the hill and looked up to its highest peak. Then Kaizo looked at the Buddhist monk and mockingly said, "It is impossible, I cannot reach the top of that hill. I'm too lazy." The Buddhist monk smiled and said, "But I'm looking for a commodity feather. He will not be found even on the top of this hill. He will be found inside a cave on the other side of this hill, for which climbed to the top of this hill and came down on the other side. But he is not an ordinary feather. You would not have seen such a feather till today. It is a very rare but beautiful feather which radiates its light." These words of the monk aroused curiosity in the boy. He had never heard of such a feather before today, and he felt excited inside, thinking of such an exciting journey. That's why he decided to accept the challenge of the monk, and he started towards the hill. But the climb was very long and difficult. Soon the boy's body started getting tired, breathless and profuse sweating started. But still he kept on walking. As he climbed higher and higher, he felt a sense of happiness and excitement which he had never felt before. Finally, when he reached the top of the hill after hard work and long effort, he was completely exhausted, but he was very happy. He was feeling a sense of self-satisfaction from inside. He had a warrior's smile on his face, as if he had won a battle. He looked down from the top of the hill. Before him was a very beautiful sight. He felt a sense of accomplishment inside him that he had never had before. But the real challenge lay ahead. Kaizo was to descend the other side of the mountain and find the cave where the feather was said to be found. The descent down was even more difficult and dangerous, because the slope was steep and the boy stumbled and fell many times during the ascent. So he was also afraid, but because of the promise of bringing the feather to the monk, he continued to move forward. After much searching, toil and hard work, when he finally reached the cave, he saw that the feather was lying, which was shining in the light coming from the entrance of the cave. He picked up the feather, but was astonished to see its beauty. He stared at the feathers for a long time, but then suddenly he remembered that he had yet to go back. He looked at himself. Kaizo was completely exhausted. He became worried that how would he climb the mountain and reach the feather to the monk? For a moment he thought of giving up, but then he realized that, and remembered the sense of pride he felt when he reached the top of the hill. He realized that he had the strength and determination to complete the journey again. He started climbing the hill again, his muscles aching, his legs trembling, his lungs bursting. He stumbled and fell many times, but he did not give up. He was constantly motivating himself to push himself forward. After tireless efforts and hours of hard work, when he finally reached the Buddhist monk and placed the feather in his hands, his happiness knew no bounds. He felt that today he had overcome his laziness and had done something important. Seeing such a sense of happiness and satisfaction on his face, the Buddhist monk smiled and said, "Very nice. Kaizo, today you have learned a very important lesson in life. That laziness is not something to be accepted or tolerated. Laziness is a challenge that must be overcome. It is an obstacle that has to be crossed, and you have to take your first step to end laziness. You have to walk towards your goal, and you have to keep walking till you reach your destination. Realizing the depth and importance of the monk's words. Kaizo, I shook my head. Today he realized that he was always capable of doing great things, but his laziness had held him back. Now he knew that he had the strength and determination to overcome any obstacle that came his way. After this, the monk blessed Kaizo and left the village. The takeaway from this story is that when we push ourselves to achieve our goals, even when they seem impossible, we discover a strength and determination within ourselves that we never knew existed before. To overcome laziness, we must challenge ourselves and set big, ambitious goals. Then no matter how difficult that goal is, we must constantly keep pushing ourselves beyond our physical and mental limits, and even in the face of failures and obstacles, one should remain strong from within. We should also develop discipline and consistency in our daily habits and routine by making a rule for ourselves and sticking to it. We can create good habits that help us stay focused and active even when we don't feel like it. Another important thing to overcome laziness is to develop a growth mindset. This means viewing challenges and failures as opportunities to grow and learn, not as reasons to give up. By adopting a growth mindset, we can reframe the way we think about failure and use it to improve and learn, and ultimately, overcome our laziness, to leave our comfort zone, and accept life's challenges and opportunities. What you learned from the story, and how you felt listening to the story, must write in the comment box. If you like the story, then give a like core. And if you have not subscribed to the Power of Positive Story channel, then please subscribe to our channel. And turn on the bell notification next to it. Thank you so much for patiently listening to the whole story.